Yeah, so what I do is I just try to become a sponge and absorb as much information from the seller first before I go away and make radical changes. There are a lot of people out there that do go away and buy businesses and like, look, let's just jump in there and make all these changes. And this is some stuff that I've done before. Like I'm that type of person that's like a massive action taker. And so the first thing I'll do is like I'll really work out how the business is running as a machine and see for a month or two what parts are doing well, what are not doing so well, and is it viable to change those things. And then once I know a fair bit about it, and it depends whether it's got VAs or employees with the business. If it's got VAs, then that's a massive advantage because you got a lot more, you got access to these guys for the duration that you own the business if they're going to stay on board. And they know so much more about the business than you. So I bought a business with some VAs and like I did 3 calls with the seller. I learned so much, but I learned a world more of knowledge than from the VAs. So I really absorb as much as I can from them because they're in the business on the ground. So that's the first step is I learn as much as I can about the business. And then I take the strategy that I put down on paper that I wanted to do to change the business. And then I ask myself again, are these changes what the business actually needs? And if so, how do I implement them? If they're not, how do I change them? And then I start making those changes. So whether it's like, all right, SEO, what's the most important thing for SEO right now? Marketing, what's the most important thing that needs to be done to the marketing right now? And then I like kind of when I do make those changes is identify the low-hanging fruit of like some small tweaks and some small changes that I can make to grow the business. And the low-hanging fruit could be they have an email list and it could be a couple of thousand subscribers strong and it hasn't really been targeted. And that's a low-hanging fruit where I could just write a couple of emails, introduce myself as a new owner or just say, hey, there's a change in management and we're changing a few things. We want to make sure we can ensure this business gets better or whatever it is, and then start building a better relationship with them, start making some more revenue out of some email marketing. So a few different things is the first thing, listening, learning as much as you can, double checking your strategy, identifying the low hanging fruit. And then the fourth thing would be implementing the strategy that you've changed for growing it.
And do you have any tips for prioritizing what to do and when? You know, you mentioned the low hanging fruit, which that makes sense. It's a little bit easier to get to, right? But let's say you have a few that it's hard to tell what's easier or what's going to have the best ROI in a short or long-term time frame. So how do you figure out what to do when?
Yeah, I think it's a tough one because it really depends on the business as well. Like if the business it's got a lot of expenses and they're not as important and you want to get some income into the business, I think that's something to just jump into straight away. But say, for example, it's got a lot of expenses and it's making a decent amount of income, but you can see there's more value to be added in earning more income, more opportunity there. I'd say stick with the expenses that are there anyway because they're getting used, so you don't have to relearn new tools or whatever you use to sub out those other ones. And then, go for that opportunity and earning the income quicker rather than just taking away the expenses. And it really depends on the shape of the business and the business. I would love to give you just like this definitive answer, but I think that's the best I can do with that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I get questions like that, usually as long as you don't make like a catastrophic mistake where you can't have flexibility to adapt, it's probably okay. And the thing is, you never know which is the better decision because you can't go back in time and do the other thing. So as long as you don't totally fuck it up, it's usually okay. So yeah, that's totally fair. I mean, that's the deal. You have to make a decision with not enough information. You don't know if it's right. Try not to mess up too bad, and then hopefully, you'll learn from it at the end of the day. Even if it wasn't the best decision. So.